Hi guys, this is Kelsey Minister. My partner is Joe Rivers, and we got a chance to interview DJ Kid Cash from Worcester. This is episode 9 of Live with the Woo Crew called Inside DJ Kid Cash's Mind. Enjoy.
Yeah. Who say the way? Woo crew going live in 5. In a time where you walk outside. You got your mask like your name, Mike Myers. Ever met a gang that's lit like mine? You got 10, got Graham, they all part of the fam. We got Fran, got Tess, and calling the man. Professor Ross, who started the plan. Got Lauren and Sajin, yeah, they heading the team. Got Kate and Kelsey, ain't nothing to tell me. More telling Joe, got it hot like Nelly. Saya make the group go higher. Karina, we need her, she'll get it done when it's required. And I'm the one who's supplying all the fire. Woo crew, name a group who fly. Woo crew going live in 5. In a time when you walk outside. You got your mask like your name, Mike Myers. Ever met a gang that's lit like mine? Woo crew going live in 5. In a time when you walk outside. You got your mask like your name, Mike Myers. Ever met a gang that's lit like ours? Gone.
Sort of an idea that I'm kind of brewing right now, within me opening up my studio in Milford, Mass. So officially I can put artists together and start doing that kind of stuff for the city and for a bigger purpose than just the city. Because not only do we want to just be known in the city, we want to be known globally. So
yeah, congratulations
definitely the goal
on opening your own studio. That's very cool.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it took a while. It started from mom's basement to having my own apartment to going off, dorming, having a little studio there, and then finally just bought my studio, rented it out, well, have a space out in Milford, like I said, and it's just great. It's dreams coming true. So as I keep going, more and more of my visions are gonna just start to show. So yeah.
What do you feel is your contribution to like the Worcester hip hop community? Like, where do you see yourself fitting in specifically?
I feel like I'm the outlet, one of the outlets. Like I've been in the scene and I've been with OGs from the actual city bringing me around, like names like Aretusits or Big Push and stuff like that. Those are like older cats, Arizona asses, engineers too, like old engineers I know. And then growing up, just being a city kid, always been a city kid in Worcester. And when I traveled to Boston, being a Boston kind of cool cat, walking around with everyone and just meeting so much people that like now my purpose, everyone when they come to me, they're like, oh, Kid Cash is gonna get that to where it needs to be. And so that's my spot in the scene, is being the disc jockey that I am too, because I don't see any other disc jockey around me being a turntablist. So with that being like my sword to fight through this battle, is like it makes it better, you know. So being that DJ and just knowing people is where my outlet stands.
Yeah.
So when they come to me, they wanna, if it's music related or just having a great banging party or a scheduled event, that's where I lie to. So my skill set basically is what puts me as that outlet in the scene.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think Worcester's like perception of your DJing is?
Reception meaning, well, the way that I'm understanding is like the love I'm getting from what I
Exactly.
do in it.
Yeah, like
Okay.
that.
Yeah, very, very respected. And that's really what I pride mostly on, not about the glamour and the fame. It's more about respect for me and just having that respect. So I'm definitely well respected at my level of being who I am as DJ Kid Cash.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
That's great.
definitely. Like when I really don't, before when I was starting at 15 years old, like, oh, DJing, I want to be the cool guy, I want to be this. And when you grow older and you really see the motive, like took me way farther than what I really imagined. So then I was like, nah, I really want to be known for this. And that will only be respect, like only respect will get you there. So, and many other things, but you know, the main one is very respected. And yes,
Yeah.
I am respected in what I do. And I've worked with a lot of people out here too. So there's a mix on SoundCloud called, it was like a battle mix.
Mm-hmm.
And like there I was supposed to DJ with another DJ called Ecstasy down in Worcester Whiskey Bar. And we're supposed to actually DJ battle. So what I mean by that for me was kind of like dissing within lyrics in the song. So I have done that in one mix for just that day, and it's on SoundCloud. If you guys ever want to check that out, that's something that can relate to like emotions and stuff like that.
Who would you consider to be like the core members of the hip hop community in Worcester? And do you think most of them like come straight from Worcester, or like they move from outside areas?
The people I've been around, there's so many, dude, but I'm gonna name a few, okay? Well, for me, at least, because this is where hip hop really came to play, because I did EDM before hip hop, and that's when I really. So, Massachusetts was one of the older cats that I knew. Let me just move this quick. Massachusetts. Then it was like Dose and Ghost the Machine. I don't know if you guys heard of them, but they're there in my list. Wow. Ed OG from around here? Think so. Him. But that goes as far as the people I work with and like kind of know. Like old, that's old. But then it's like Abby Codal. Damn, I'm drawing blanks. There's so much people. This question always gets me. Every time someone asks me, it's like, who do I put on the spot? Because there's so much, like there's who else, dude? You got Reap Youngin, you have Luis Antonio, you have Kevin Young, like then it starts coming up, to our generation. But the old cast is like Eric Juices, Big Push, and Ed OG.
This kind of goes along with like your views of like the reception of your music, but it's in more generalized. It's what is Worcester's reception to hip hop in the community, and how does it fit in with like the cultural narrative of Worcester?
It's becoming big because the elements of hip hop are being like created more and more, less than it was before, because now we have art on the street, so that paints hip hop. Then you have the artists that are coming and doing videos in front of this art, and like it's just expanding more, just because more of the cultural elements are coming into place here. You got more DJs coming out. You have more rappers, more songwriters coming out. What else is we had violence, we always did have violence. So there's always stories to make within the hip hop culture of Worcester. So I think it's expanding.
Do you think hip hop can be used as a tool for social uplift, like in the community? And more specifically, what impacts have you seen it on the youth in Worcester?
It's made a big impact, I would say. Not so much as like making them change right now, but I've saw waves of music from Worcester artists that have put in time to, show these kids, some of these kids, what not to do and what it could be.
Yeah.
Out here in Worcester, because there's some that do speak of the real that we should be hearing, and there's kids following that wave.
How old were you when you first started creating music, mixing and rapping, and what or who inspired you?
So I started, my story is very, very, you read, all right, I'm going to tell you the story, how it started. 15 years old, you have a group of friends that are creating a band, you feel left out. So you're like, damn, what could I do? Who could I be? I don't play the guitar, the drums, or the piano. I don't do none of that. So I was like, damn, I'm left out, dude. What am I gonna do? Like, I'm just gonna sit here and be a fan? Nah, I wanna be a part of my friends. So we ended up listening to a song called Slipknot. And I don't know if you know what Slipknot is, but it's a band and it's a heavy, heavy metal band. Whenever you get a chance, look them up. It's the greatest band ever because I fell in love with them. And they had like this scratching effect in the background. I was like, dude, what is that? Like, I really got to know what that is. It sounds crazy. Like, so then I looked at the video. It's an actual, like, they're dressed up crazy. And I'm just seeing a DJ just spazzing on the turntables. And I was like, that could be me right there. Let me go, let me go try to collect more cans because I was only 15 years old, 14 years old, going in 15. I was like, let me go collect more cans around the city. So I go and do that with a shopping cart for like weeks on end, bro, just to get a new Mark turntable that was about $200. And I went and just from there, it just started, man. I just started scratching away. I started meeting more producers and engineers, starting to learn how to use Ableton, Fruity Loops, Logic. That's my thing, Logic. And just from there, it exploded. My like my dreams and my imagination just started creating more. And like I've gotten very far within everything, DJing on a big stage by myself for an hour and just pumping up the fans. There's videos on now, like it's just it's bananas. So at 14 years old is when I started, and I started collecting cans. And then when I got my turntables, it was a crazier, even a crazier experience because when I got my turntables, I didn't even have the money. I was gambling with the dude. I saw it at a yard sale for like $1,000, and I just started gambling with the dude. Like, yo, I'll give you my dirt bike, a dirt bike that someone gave me, all this other crap to just get this one thing because I knew that's what I was gonna be in life.
Mm-hmm.
And then from once I got those turntables, it was a wrap from there. DJ Kid Cash is a kid that ultimately made a lot of money, and I've been thinking about if I was change the name, but nah, I'm gonna keep it because it's like legendary to Worcester itself. Because I do have awards and stuff like that, like
Yeah.
on magazines and whatnot. And so I'm gonna keep it like that. But DJ Kid Cash is just a kid who was making a lot of money after he made that quick change and made it all happen. Because I've hustled since the start of before even DJing. So I was like, nah, I'm Kid Cash.
Yep, you have. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Sorry.
then now that some people call me Cash, some people call me Kid, depending on what. But it's all respectful to me. So
Mhm. And then what about your logo?
my logo. So my logo is me. That was a party in Boston, Mass. I had a Vietnamese or Japanese restaurant cleared out, and I think there's a video on that on YouTube too under my channel. And it's just everybody that I knew in Boston. This thing it's called Woo Air, and when we cleared out that whole thing, there's so much people in there that I like took a side picture with my bandana, and then that's it. That's my favorite. But this logo here though is Stereo Pleasure Record right here.
Okay.
This is my record. This is my record label right here
Oh yeah.
that I started to do for the reasons of collaboration and making beautiful music that you can relate to, and that's everlasting because
Yeah.
that's what we need. We don't need that pass by real quick. We need those things that we used to love too. So that's what I'm gonna try to do, and I'm gonna do.
Cool. So as an entrepreneur, have you ever considered quitting like working on music despite like the amount of passion you have?
Mm, quitting no.
No.
Quitting no, because I've gotten so far.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's the motive too. It's like I've gone so far, bro. Why would you want to quit now? And then it keeps going and keeps going. And when I
Yeah.
do, so I guess I would say I do sometimes feel that way. Like when it gets really, but then it's like, what? What are you saying? You got all this done. Like keep going.
Yeah.
Just because of this or that. But yeah, that's the motive.
Like believing in yourself.
Yeah, a lot of it comes from that.
Mm-hmm.
And just so you manifest it, and then when you see it, you're like, whoa, that's real.
Yeah.
Like the logo, like just the imagination of DJ Kid Cash in itself. Like, whoa, I was in high school really thinking about trying to be a DJ, and here I am. I shook hands with now people are coming like ASAP Ferg and uh come on, Denzel Curry and all these other people that we may know that are really high. Like, yeah. So me doing all these things, shaking hands and being just this in itself. So I thank you, Kelsey, thank you, Joe, so much. Like
Thank you.
this means a lot to me
you.
because I get to like sometimes it doesn't all come out, but every interview is different and pieces and chunks will come out that I'm telling my story, and the story is bigger than what I can even express, you know? So it's great that you guys are doing this.
I'm looking like Gotti. I had the 40. What was you thinking? Nina, my shorty. Not a boy lippin'. Ballin' like Kobe. You looking like Pippin. No Rick and Morty. I whip in the kitchen. Play with the pad. I'm keeping it flippin'. Stay on the track. I never be switching. Shorty got ass. And I'm on a mission. Bringing it back. And I gotta kill it. We ain't the same. My circle a huddle. I jump out the.
So that's another one.
That was good. I like that
That
one.
was good.
And now a word from our state rep, Daniel Donahue, about an important nonprofit organization located in Worcester. We hope you will support in solidarity with the Woo Crew.
Hi, I'm Daniel Donahue, Massachusetts State Representative for the 16th Worcester District. I'd like to take this opportunity to tell you a bit more about Abby's House, a nonprofit organization that values women from diverse backgrounds and experiences in my hometown of Worcester, Mass. The mission of Abby's House is to provide shelter and affordable housing, as well as advocacy and support services to homeless, battered, and low-income women with or without children. This is an important organization in our community, values hospitality, diversity and inclusion, compassion and respect, women's self-determination, and collective effort. Holy Cross was the first class to help support the women of Abby's House by providing volunteers to staff the shelter dating back to 1976. And Holy Cross students and alumni continue to partner with Abby's House by providing monetary, in-kind, and volunteer support. I hope you'll consider joining us by making a donation to Abby's House in honor of their 45th anniversary. Your donations will help to keep in operation the 79 units of supportive housing and 9 overnight shelter beds of Abby's House. Additionally, your donation will contribute to the wonderful programs of Abby's House, such as providing each woman with an advocate who helps her identify realistic goals and provides her with the tools she needs to achieve these goals. If you are able and willing to make a gift to this amazing nonprofit, please click the link accompanying this video. If you would like to learn more about Abby's House, including opportunities for volunteering, please visit them at abbyshouse.org. Thank you.
Thank you for your time listening to our state representative talk about this great opportunity to support the Worcester community. And now back to the Woo Crew for more excitement.
So one of our like songs that we liked on SoundCloud was called Trill Shit. It was like an EDM trap hip hop mix thing.
Yeah.
We liked like the upbeat of it and like the popular song remixes. It's like from about 4 years ago.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What inspired the beats and mixes behind it, and how long did it take you to finish and record it?
Took a couple of days of trial and error, and then a couple of days of creating, and then final mix was like, so it took like a week just to really dive into like what songs really sound good together.
Yeah.
And the whole 10-minute thing is inspired by a DJ I know called DJ Blend, and he's like a crazy EDM type of DJ, and so he inspired me to do those kind of mixes like that.
Yeah, the beat drops were like pretty cool in that, so we liked it a lot.
I think a lot of people lean when I do that kind of stuff. They say, "Why don't you keep going with that kind of music?" You know,
Yeah.
As soon as everything opens up with COVID, I'm pretty sure I want to get into that scene again.
Yeah, and like play at a venue. And
yeah.
How would you describe your creative process as an artist, and what does your like drafting stages entail in terms of like making a song?
Sometimes songs can be at less than 30 minutes or 30 minutes itself, or it could take weeks and months. Please stop. Um, weeks and months. Come here. Sorry, guys.
It's okay.
So it takes sometimes weeks or months, like that first song I showed you guys.
Mhm.
Took like 2 months just because we were traveling to me and the producer to Florida and back. So it took us time to really think about the lyrics too.
Yeah. And what do you think like your creative process is? Like, what are you inspired by? Is it just like thoughts that come to your head?
Yeah. When I listen to the melody and I listen to and I feel the vibe.
Yeah.
And then we'll paint the picture right before we start creating the words for the song. So we'll be like, oh, I feel like I'm here right now. Like sometimes I go back and forth with the producer. Oh, I feel like I'm at the beach right now in a car, or I'm on a mountain, and then that's when it just all goes down. Or I'm just in a cage, or
Yeah.
stuff from that. Like just more or less just dreaming and just
Imagine.
and using the imagination to its full potential. And sometimes it just comes out where you're like, wow, I really did that, or wow, that really came out from just us thinking about that. And then once you put more people's thoughts into the same energy, it just gets even crazier.
Yeah.
I start flowing like crazy, and then everybody's feeling this rush of like, wow, we're making this happen and this sounds so good. And so that's the type of inspiration that it brings, all that like nice good feeling.
Which platform do you think is best to like find and listen to your music? Do you think it's SoundCloud or Spotify or anything different?
I think majority would be Spotify, I believe, but I listen to Apple Music a lot too, so it's one of those two.
Yeah.
SoundCloud, find a lot of unnamed or upcoming artists that labels and stuff pick out, but SoundCloud has discovered a lot of artists, so I
Yeah.
can't down SoundCloud, but definitely like Spotify. My main one is Apple Music.
Like you had recent events called the Care Factory and Turn Up Friday. What was the experience like playing at these, and what was your favorite part about it?
My favorite part about it is that it's in a factory where I'm how do I even say it? Like I enjoy, and I on my free time smoke bud. So it's a bud free zone where you can kind of chill out, smoke, listen to music, and then it just turned into another event where they're like giving out free liquor and all this other jazz that the promoter wanted it to do that day. And it just became a great night because I invited artists from Boston that came and performed. So that's Nights Well Spent is what his name. He recently had a video we just went to in Boston. But definitely invited some artists down, and that was just a great environment for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it was more underground, not where everybody would be at, but since people know people, it just became what it was.
Yeah. Were a lot of different artists there? Like you said,
yeah. Yeah, that's another thing too. Like if I have a gig somewhere and I call up artists, usually they come.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I think that's a cool part of like where I stand too.
Mhm.
Is like artists will come to show, and then I show them love, and it just continues that way.
Like this question kind of was referring to like when you first started, like how did you know when to like turn it into like a full-time job and things?
When I got my turntables. As soon as I got my because I didn't have my turntables, so I was doing a wedding with new marks. And so when I was like, oh man, I'm gonna do this wedding with this plastic stuff in front of like people, like I'm gonna be embarrassed. Like I don't even look professional. From there, that's when it like kind of took off.
Yeah, that's cool. So you were embarrassed like when you first started because you just like were scared of what people would think.
Yeah, always that. And then it was always that. Honestly, it's always something like, oh, what do people think and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, and then I just embraced it. I really embraced it once I really needed to start making money and like really showing up.
Yeah.
And then
You like
then I got
yeah, you like started taking it like very seriously and like working hard at it specifically.
yeah,
So
yeah, yes, definitely. Once that first wedding when I needed to get those turntables, that was the cap. Like that blew the cap to me, just focusing on that. And then it became DJing. Then I met Art Beats. Then when Art Beats, he said, dude, you got to start making, you're not going to be a mixed DJ being famous and stuff. I was like, okay, let me go. He's like, go make records. And that's what I'm doing now,
that's
and make sure I perfect it. So before that, I was like, I'm a DJ, but how am I going to know how to make records? I need to go to school. So I went to school for that. And that's when it all started with the producing. And then it branched off from there.
oh, that's cool.
Solidly DJ Kid Cash, and then it went that way. Yeah.
Cool.
Mhm.
So I know you touched a little bit on like your opening, but what are your next steps as a growing artist from Worcester? And do you plan on continuing your music career for the rest of your life and plan on living in the city of Worcester too?
That's funny. I was just talking to my fiance about moving, if she thinks we would move from here, but for now, no. I don't think, but I definitely will do the music thing to it to the end of its life,
Yeah.
because like it's not at a baby level, but it's like at a adult level right now, and I just need to get further into it. Once I think it can keep going for me as long as I keep doing what I'm doing.
And then your next steps as like a growing artist?
Being consistent, making more records and just choosing, yeah, because it's always a choice. So you're choosing who to work with at the best time to make these records happen,
Mhm.
and making records.
Cool. Well, that's really it for today, but it was like
Perfect.
so great to learn about your work and just like everything that you talked about, like the vibe of how it can be is always like interesting to hear because we would never know. So it was really great to talk.
Yeah, I just want to thank you for your time. It was very interesting to learn more about you as an artist, and I'm really rooting for you. And I hope when you open up that studio, things start to expand even more, and that just your career continues to progress and take off even further.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you, Joe.
No
Appreciate you.
problem.